Hello everyone, I'm Thayang and we are reading Elementary Chinese Reader 2. In lesson 43, we'll have a look at how to make passive sentences in Chinese. But before we do that, let us have a quick recall of what are passive sentences. A passive sentence is that sentence where the subject or the active part of the sentence moves towards back. For example, the subject becomes object and object comes in front. For example, he ate an apple, or an apple was eaten by him. In this sentence, the object of this sentence, apple, comes towards the front, and the subject or the doer of the action, he, went back. So he ate an apple was eaten by him. The subject of the sentence went backwards or become inactive or passive. Let us now have a look at the following sentences from the box to understand how do we make passive sentences in Chinese. 他的练习做完了. He finished his exercise, or his exercise was finished. This is an example of an implied passive sentence in Chinese. Passive sentences can be of two types. One is implied passive sentence, other where we use some particles to denote the sentence is a passive sentence. Various particles that we use to make passive sentences are pei, rang, jiao. When we use these particles, we make sentences passive sentence. In this sentence, this is a passive sentence with implied understanding that this is a passive sentence. 他的练习做完了. Finished his exercise. He finished his exercise. His exercise is finished. 我的词典让他借走了. My dictionary was borrowed by him. In normal sentence, this would be spoken as he borrowed my dictionary. In this sentence, we are saying my dictionary was borrowed by him. We have used the particle rang to denote this is a passive sentence. 我的词典让他借走了. My dictionary was borrowed by him. 那个病人被大夫救活了. That patient was saved by the doctor. In a simple sentence, we would have said, doctor saved that ill patient. In a passive sentence, we are saying that ill patient was saved by the doctor. Using the particle pei, we make this sentence a passive sentence. Let us now move on to the substitution drills. Let us read the first sentence. 他的练习做完了. Finished his exercise. Let us read the words from the box to make suitable replacement in the underlined parts and make more passive sentences. 衣服 clothes, 洗 wash, 干净 clean. 成绩 achievement, 提高 increased, 腿 leg, 撞伤 to hit, 伤 injured, 伤 injury, 治好 treat good or treated. Replace these words in the above sentence to make new sentences. Moving on to the second substitution drill, let us read the following sentence. 我的词典 my dictionary 让 or 叫他借走了. My dictionary was borrowed by him. In simple sentence, this would have been he borrowed my dictionary. In a passive sense, we say my dictionary was borrowed by him. Let us move on to the words in the box to make suitable replacements. 自行车 bicycle, 借出 borrowed and went. My bicycle was borrowed by him. 录音机 recorder, 拿出 carried and taken over. 录音机 na chu. Na is to carry, chu is to go. Carried and went. Maui sweater. 穿处 wear or worn, 马 horse, 骑走 骑 is to ride, 走 is to walk or go. So my horse was taken over by him by riding, or he took my horse by riding over. Moving on to the third substitution drill, 哪个病人 that patient, 被大夫救活了 that patient was saved, or that patient's life was saved by the doctor. Simple sentence would have been, doctor saved that patient's life. A passive sentence is, that patient's life was saved by the doctor. Let us now look at the words in the box to make suitable replacements. Let us read out the following words. 路上的水 路上 on road, 水 snow, 风 blown, 刮走 wind, the snow on the road was blown by the wind. Replace these words and make new sentences. 他的情况 his situation. 游泳教练 a swimming coach. 发现 discovered. His condition was discovered by a swimming coach. 那辆汽车 that car. 我哥哥 my elder brother. 开走 ride or rode over. 刘向东 that is name of a person. 汽车 a car. 撞伤 撞 is to hit, 伤 injured. Liu Xiangtong was hit and injured by a car, or a car injured Liu Xiangtong. Replace these words and make new sentences. 他被派到外国去学习了 He was sent to foreign country to study. Let us look at the words in the box and make replacements. 请到主席台上去 invited to the podium. 请到 请 is to invite. 主席台 podium. 上去 up invited to the podium. 选到国家代表队去 selected in national team or national delegation. 上进业余体育学校去学习 业余体育 is amateur. 学校 school. He was entered or admitted to the amateur school to study. 墙上的画儿 the picture on the wall. 没有 not. 被 by or passive sense. 风刮掉 blown by the wind. Picture on the wall was not blown over by the wind. 我的提包人那些东西他扔掉刘向东困难吓到吓 is to frighten or be afraid of. Liu Xiangtong was not afraid of difficulties. Let us now read the text of this lesson. 不平常的运动员 not ordinary sportsman. 平常 is ordinary. 不平常 not ordinary. 运动员 sportsman, an extraordinary sportsman. 刘向东10岁的时候 when Liu Xiangtong was 10 years old. 有一次 once. 过马路 was going over the road. 被汽车撞伤了 by car was hit. 他的伤很重 伤 is injury. 重 is serious or heavy. His injury was serious or heavy. Liu Xiangtong, when he was 10 years old, once he was going over the road, he was hit by a car. His injury was very serious. 立刻 at once. 被进送了医院 immediately was admitted to the hospital. 经过大夫们的努力 Liu Xiangtong 被救活了 by the hard work of doctors. the life of Liu Xiangtong was saved. 但是他的右腿 but his right leg 却也折掉了 lost 折掉 is to lose. His life was saved by the hard work of doctors, but he lost his right leg. 刚刚10岁 only 10 years old. 只有 only have 一条腿 one leg. Only 10 years old and he had only one leg. 怎么生活 how would 生活 is life. 下去呢 to be over or spent. Only 10 years old has one leg, only one leg. How would life be spent? 刘显东是一个有毅力的孩子。毅力 is willpower. 孩子 child. Liu Xiantong was a child with a willpower. 他没有被困难吓到。吓 is to frighten, to be afraid of or to be frightened. So Liu Xiantong was a child with a willpower. He was not afraid of difficulties. 慢慢的，他自己学会了过路。慢慢的 slowly. He taught himself to go on road or cross road. 生活上 in life, he also 不要 don't need 家里人照顾 care. In life also did not require the help or care of family members. 想当从小就喜欢游泳。Xiangdong from childhood liked swimming. 现在父母 now parents 不许 not allowed young to swim. So from childhood, Xiangdong loved to swim. Now parents did not allow him to swim. 可是 but 他还 still 他还是常常 often 一个人 single person, but often he alone 到河里去游 went to the river to swim. 有一次 once 他游到河中心 junction is middle 游到 swim to 河 river junction. Once he swam to the middle of river. 力气用完了 the strength used one finished. His strength was finished. 又不回来了 by swimming could not return back. 后来 later 让一位运动员救了生活 later by a sportsman his life was saved. 此后 since then 刘相东更加努力 so he worked since then he worked even harder. 练习游泳 practice swimming. Since then he practiced even harder for swimming. 过了7年 several years passed. 他游的差不多跟正常人一样快 Several years passed and he can swim more or less like an ordinary person, as quick as an ordinary person. 常常人 a normal person, 一样快 same as or as fast as a normal person. Several years passed and Liu Xiantong can now swim as fast as a normal person. Liu Xiantong 的情况 the situation of Liu Xiantong 被一位游泳教练发现了 was discovered by a swimming coach. 教练让他进了 the coach asked him to enter or allowed him to enter 业有体育学校 an amateur school. 教练 coach allowed him to enter in an amateur school, amateur academy. 经过几年的训练 past several years of training. 他的游泳成绩提高了很多. His swimming achievements increased a lot. 有一年 one year 亚洲主星亚洲 is Asia 主星 held. So once upon a year or in a year in Asia was held 三七人运动会三七人 is a handicapped person 运动会 athletic meet or sports meet. So once in a year in Asia was held the athletic meet for handicapped persons. 刘仙东被选进国家代表队. Liu Xiantong by selection entered the country's delegation. 三项游泳比赛 participated in the competition, the swimming competition. 比赛中 in the competition. 他用了全身的力气. He used the energy or power of the whole body, or the strength of whole body. 最后得了第一名, at last or finally received the first place, or he stood first. 当奖证挂在他身上 when the medal was hung on his body. 的时候 at that time when the medal was hung on his body at that time 他激动 he was stirred or he was moved. 他激动了 he was moved. 流出了眼泪 流 to flow 眼泪 tears. The tears flowed down. At the time when the medal was hung over his body, he was moved and tears flowed down from his eyes. This was lesson 43 from Elementary Chinese Reader 2, where we saw how to make passive sentences in Chinese.